All right. Again, welcome and welcome to this information session. And this session you can consider as orientation as well. We're going to just talk about DTA in general. We're going to talk about, what should you expect and how can you be successful by joining us. So let's go ahead and look into the next slide. Again, four of us are here. I just didn't have the time to add Laskar here, but we call him Enam, so he's going to be here joining us as well as part of the whole team. We're going to be the whole group in order to make sure that you're being successful. So number one is that Shanto and I will be more focused on training. And then we have Motion, who's going to be more focused on the making sure accounts are still active, you're still participating, you're still here, and the communication is still going as smooth as possible. He's also part of the finance. And then we have Laskar, who's going to be part of the homework. His job is to grade the homework, and his job is to make sure that you did the homework. Most importantly, he's going to also track your homework and attendance because we want to make sure that this is being done in order for us to see a very good end result. And this was designed just to make sure that you are being successful after end of this 4 to 6 months session. Shantavai and I, both of us are certified by ASTQB. That means we had to go through a few trainings in order for us to even come up here today and talk about it. So we come from various domains as well as various type of experience. So we'll be able to bring those experiences and give you guys some real pictures of how is it like out there. So most of our training is going to be more talking about real life situations rather than here is a book, go ahead and read this chapter. So when we are out here talking, we're just going to be talking about what happens exactly in a team. So that way you are prepared, you're fully prepared to deal with that when you get hired. We do have books, we do have syllabus, and we also have courses that you will be taking, and we'll give you access to those as well. So those are for more like self-paced. If you feel like, hey, I have some extra time and I want to go ahead and learn those extra things, we're going to give you access to our Udemy company account where you will be able to have access to at least 80 plus courses for you to take. Obviously, you want to take few, you don't need to go and learn everything. So we'll talk about that and we'll show you guys those as well. So this is how it looked like when we used to actually have on-site. So DTA have been training and placing students for, I would say, maybe 8+ years now. We had multiple locations. We had one in Long Island City, and we also had in Hillside. So this is actually in Hillside location from 2019. Most of these spaces that you can see here are right now, some are working, some of them became developers, some of them became BA, and most of them actually became QA. So our most targeted job is QA engineer and / analyst. And we'll talk about different positions and how can you be an engineer versus how can you become a QA engineer. And where do you want to start first, right? What is the easiest to get started with? So we'll talk about all of that. Here we basically, I believe this was a birthday celebration, but this was in our class. So this is just to give you guys a real picture that, we didn't just wake up yesterday and decided to do these classes and kind of take responsibility on giving you guys jobs. We have been doing this for quite some time, and we make sure that we are responsible as long as you do your part. So it's always going to be 50% yours and 50% ours. You do your part and we will do ours in order to make sure that you get to land on your dream job. This is like a community, I would say community outreach. So we do go out time to time, and we try to educate communities in terms of, if they want to have a plan for career change, and if they're doing anything in terms of a better future. So if somebody is driving cab, if somebody's working on customer service, if they wanted to do this as a try, and maybe they would like it, and maybe they will change their future as well. So as you notice that there are other schools behind us as well, and we got at that day, we actually got the most people coming us directly to us, and we didn't even give them any free items. So most of the school that went to this event actually provided free, I would say free items like pens and hats and shirts, and we didn't, because we were just there to have fun, and we didn't go there with an intention to get as many as people as possible. We just went there for just providing information. You may notice today that you have right now maybe 9 participants right now, and it's because we try to do our classes as small as possible, so that way I can handle it, Shantavai can handle it, and everybody else can handle it. The idea is that we'll do a small batch, but we will make sure that everybody gets a job. So almost 99, sometime 90%, as long as you don't give up, we don't give up. You will, I guess the chances of you getting a job is higher than other schools, because we have very small group. And if you came from, let's say, if you're referred by a friend, and I'm sure that friend probably got a job from us, or at least heard of us. So again, we take it seriously when it comes about placement, job placement. Yes, there are sometimes people have learning problem. Maybe they are too busy. Maybe they are just working full time. That's when we try to help anyway, right? We still try to help you to land your job, and then if you want to keep the job, you'll have to work hard, right? So then it becomes up to you to be able to keep your own job, but we still try to get you your dream job, to make sure that you get to see it through, right? Imagine you did the class and you never see it through, you're just gonna feel like you wasted time and money. All right, this is another on-site class, and now let's talk more into what you're here for, right? Some of you guys are probably heard, oh, I want to get into IT, but what is IT to begin with, right? What is that you're targeting? So no matter where you go nowadays, they're going to say, oh, I'm an IT person, I do IT. And so it gets really, really, vague. It gets, it is a big word, right? IT doesn't mean that, you're just going and testing softwares. It also means that you're building softwares. It also means that you're probably setting up just a laptop in a office for employees, right? So it could be anything. It also can be database. So let's talk more specific today to make sure that we do understand why is it that we can do a crash course and be able to still get a job. And what kind of standard that is out there. Why is it that is so easy to get in compared to any other career that are out there? Right off the bat, I'm going to start with one statement. If you ever want to work in, let's say, in the airport, and you're doing customer service or whatever is the case, I think the interview process is more harder to get a job in JFK, LaGuardia, or any of the airport nearby you than getting a QA job. Okay, so it is a lot harder to get a customer service job than a QA job, and it's because I'll tell you, when you're technical, it gets easy. When you become a technical person, it gets really, really easy. So we'll explain all of that. First, let's understand what is quality assurance. So your job will be making sure that the product meets the quality standards. It meets the I would say it meets the expectation of the user who will be using the application. So we're going to be, again, working more on the software. You're not going to QA the food, you're not going to QA the drugs or any sort of pharmaceutical stuff, because QA also a position that exists in pharmaceutical side or any other positions. There are people actually just inspect foods, right? And they are also called QA, but we're more on the software side. So let's look at the definition, and then I'll give you guys some explanation on that. So a quality assurance specialist ensures that final product observes the company's quality standard. In general, these detail-oriented professionals are responsible for development and implementation of inspection activities. the detection and resolution of problem and delivery of the satisfactory outcomes. Okay, so our job, I'm going to kind of break it down in my way. The easiest possible way is that our job is to make sure that it meets the standard. So the company has to give us something, right? Meaning they give us like some sort of expectation, maybe document to say, okay, this is what I want. We look at the document and we then write a lot of checklist. Okay, we write a lots of checklist, and then we go through the entire software if needed, and to make sure that all of the checklists gets filled in order for us to say it meets the company's standard. And then what we do is that we also then think like a end user. So there are something comes from us as well as an expert. So we are there on behalf of the company as well as the user. So we will also look at the user experience and look at these features, functionality of the application to make sure that the whole application is smooth. It works as good as they stated on the documents, and user will not have hard time. User will not pull their hairs at the time of using the software, right? And that's what we will be observing for, and we will raise those as an issue. We'll detect and raise it in order to resolve those problems. And only after that, the software will be released and it will be meeting the satisfactory outcomes of a end user. Okay, so any question you guys can write it on the chat, but this is at least in an easiest way to put it, what your job will be. So who can become a QA? And again, this will be a lot of myths that are out there. Some people actually comes up and they're pretty, I would say, naive minded, would say, okay, I never did computer science, so I don't think I can do this. Or, oh, I did accounting, so I cannot do this. But I can tell you this much is that having a computer science degree, it really, really helps, because now you can go and advance more than others, and you can probably run faster than the others in the class. But if you're an accountant, if you did business, you still have advantage. So any sort of education will have advantage, because now not only that you have some sort of education, but also you know that it's not going to be easy, and you know that you're going to have to sit down and study. So you're kind of used to this already. Those that are out of, let's say, education for quite some time, they will have to find their way of spending this 15 to 20 hours per week. That's per week. That means if you do 2 hours per day, that gives you like 14 already, right? 14 hours already. So it's not a lot. It's not a lot, but also remember 6 months of, 6 years of experience cramped into 6 months at this point. So having a computer science degree, again, it helps. Okay, previous experience also helps. Having engineering background also helps, and because again, you will be hardworking, right? You already know you have to work hard. You will not settle for basic. You will be always looking into the advanced and complex situation and try to always come up with the most efficient way to solve a problem. And that's how engineering background, people with engineering background will think. But those who doesn't have engineering background, we're here to make sure that those also get the same ability. As long as they follow through, as long as they do the homework, it will really, you will probably have the similar mindset by the time we finish our course. Okay, so it is not necessary for you to even have a degree at all, as long as you believe in yourself, as long as you are a person. I'll describe your personality. If you're not fitting into that personality, then I would say think after this session. So if you feel like that you are a person who can just look at something and kind of replicate, if you feel like you see somebody's cooking a specific meal and you can actually cook it after without having to take a lot of notes, if you feel like you're that person who wants to perfect something, meaning you're doing some work and you're just enjoying and you're just basically wants to be the perfectionist, if you are the person who, let's say, takes a IKEA furniture and reads the instruction and then assembles it, these are the personality of a QA is, I would say, QA will have, because again, our job is to read, create checklist, and check. That's it. We don't go and fix softwares. We don't. We tell them, okay, here is the problem and here is the problem. We do not fix anything. So QA engineering or QA analyst is by far the easiest way to get into IT. If you're trying to get into database, if you're trying to get into development as well as business, QA is probably the door for you to enter first. This is the way that you're going to go in first, and you're going to be part of the team. Everybody's going to like you, depending on your people skills and personality. And then you can express your feelings to your teammates to say that I would like to be on the business side more because I enjoy business side. Okay. So again, sky's the limit once you get in. You can just make sure that you still have a target, but QA is probably the easiest way for you to enter the door. Okay. Again, guys, if you guys, okay, I see one question. So after successful completion of this bootcamp, how long is the placement? Again, the placement, we're going to talk about it. We have a whole section for it, but again, I'll give you guys a little bit of hint. The placement of the job really depends on you. So, and I'll talk about why that depends on you. You do your 50% just like you do this class also. What you will need as of right now, aside from the personality that I described, is that you need 15 to 20 hours. That's only 2 hours per bare minimum per day. Self-reliance, meaning if you have your daily goals, if you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, I'm going to spend 2 hours, then I want you to spend that 2 hours. Okay, so you have to have commitment, personal commitment, and you meet those goals. That's the first thing you should do, right? You have to be able to meet your own goals in order to be successful. Again, this will be a bootcamp, so we're gonna talk about discipline at the end, and how we will actually, what are some of the actions that might be taken by DTA if you haven't, if you have significant amount of, homework missed. Then motivation. Motivation is constantly reminded. I try to motivate you guys as much as possible. Every classes I'll try to give examples, and also we will announce if somebody gets a job for this week, we will announce it. So every week, at least 1 or 2 offer we're getting right now. And that is because our previous, we still have 2 previous badges that are still active, but we have other badges that already finished and they're currently looking for jobs. So we do get few offers per week. Some week we don't get any offer, right? So it's just depending on how many interviews we're dealing with per week. Then again, dedication and commitment. You have to know exactly what you're looking for and what you're shooting, because we're here to give you the materials. But if you are here to experiment, you're going to waste, I wouldn't say waste time, but you're going to probably learn the hard way. That means the first time you'll probably not do very well. And then you'll probably join us for the second batch whenever we have a brand new batch, right? So again, you have to have that dedication and commitment to yourself. So that way you don't end up doing, 1 year of bootcamp instead of like just doing 4 to 6 months. So don't do that. Don't do this to yourself, guys. Try to be efficient, because if you really, there are some topics you can actually learn it in a day, or you can learn it in 6 months. It's really who you are. Okay. What you will learn in that 4 months, again, 4 to 6 months, guys, to be giving you guys proper expectation. 4 months is because if we go as planned, right? If we do have holidays, if we do have people missing the class and things like that, obviously it's going to extend. So the first thing is we're going to cover Java basics. In Java basics, we're going to make sure that you can at least write some basic programming. It doesn't make you an expert. You cannot become a Java developer the very next day, but it will help you understand how program works. If you have engineering background, electrical engineering or any sort of engineering, you may have already done some level of programming. It could be MATLAB, it could be other programming like C++, C#, whatever is the case. Any programming you have ever done will come handy when we do this basic Java programming. In addition to that, we're going to give you a heads up when the Java class is going to start, so that way you can already get some experience by going online. We also have few courses available for you guys to take. You can take that self-paced before even we do the course. So that way you are going to be very, very efficient on absorbing the material. The second one is Selenium. Selenium is basically a tool that works with Java and other languages like, Python. It works with C#, it works with .NET. Now, Selenium is basically something is gonna help you to become more efficient with your testing, right? So when you go out there and do testing of a software and you do it yourself, it's called manual testing. You as a human being, you click here and you click there and you go through your checklists, that is called manual testing. Automation is when you write code and tell your code to go and check those instead of you doing it. And one of the reasons why automation is very, very relevant right now, as of right now, is because almost every company have automation. And one of the reasons is because repeated testing, all right? We have to test again and again and again. Whenever developers makes minor changes to the application, we have to test everything else to make sure everything is functioning. So isn't it better to automate? And that's why we had to teach you guys how to automate test cases or tests, right? And the simplest way I can explain what Selenium is that Selenium controls browser. It can control any browser, okay? You talk to Selenium with Java, and Selenium then go ahead and talk to browser and tell the browser what to do. So now we're kind of like hijacking browser to do certain things for us. We can say, hey, browser, go to Google and type this, and it will type it for us, right? So now we can actually tell Selenium to do the testing for us because Selenium can actually take over browsers, okay? So we're gonna show you guys how to do that. But part of the Selenium, we're not gonna just show you one, we're gonna show you 4 different frameworks and how to be very, very efficient with the test automation. So that way you don't just end up, going to a team and you look like just the basics. You will be the person who at least knows some degree of automation with best practices in mind. Engineering is always about efficiency and the best practices, guys. It's not just being able to just do the job. Okay, the next thing is we will learn SQL. SQL is basically for database. Not only that you will do backend testing, but also this is to create yourself some test data when you do testing. You're going to need some sort of manipulation of the data in the backend in order to even continue to do manual testing, automation testing, or even doing backend testing. So that's something that we're going to cover. Lastly, we're going to cover Jira. Jira is a tool that you'll be using daily. This is a task management tool, project management tool, whatever you want to say it. It's a workflow management tool. So whenever you get assignments, Jira will be the tool where you're going to go in and you're going to see what assignments that you have and what you will be working on for the day and what you worked on in the past. So this will help you to describe your daily status, right? So not only that you will be able to manage your own tasks, but also your manager will be able to track what you're working on. And it gives the transparency into the whole team. Jira has a lot more capabilities. So we're going to try to not only show you how Jira works, but we're going to also show you how to set up Jira as an admin. So that way, if you do end up getting a job as a Jira admin, you'll be still able to keep the job, right? So there is a specific job position for Jira admin. That means you're the person who set up the whole Jira for the whole company. And you manage access and other things like setting up projects and all of that stuff. So we're going to talk about that during our class. Last but not least is that manual testing. And I cannot stress enough here how important that is. Before even all of these tools, so Java is, again, think about a tool, right? That's, again, it's a programming language, but still a tool for you. Selenium is still a tool, SQL is still a tool, and Jira is still a tool. Manual testing is a process, it's an engineering process. We're going to teach you guys exactly what you need to know to say, I know exactly how to test an application. You have to become a tester at heart. You have to be a tester to begin with. You have to be a QA before you can even say, I will use Jira, I will use Selenium. These are the tools that makes you more efficient. So you have to first become a tester. And we're going to make sure that you get that first before you get into the tools, because tools are there to help you. Without the tools, you can still do the work. You know, prior to 2011-ish, there was no, okay, Selenium came in, I believe, like 2009, right? And it didn't take off right away. But prior to that, people still tested things, right? They still tested softwares. There were other tools as well. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm a Selenium expert. You know, you have to be a tester first. You have to have the skill set of a QA engineer before you even say anything about Java, Selenium, and other things. Those are there to make you better and efficient, but you have to be a tester. So we're going to make sure that you feel that and you have no doubt at all about what it is that you will be doing at work. I do see a question, so I'm going to take that. The question is that I was job searching online, and I have found that majority of the companies requires a minimum 2 years of experience. How will be able to satisfy that requirement? That is true. That is true, right? 2 years, 3 years. And not only that, you can put this as an experience because we are a verifiable company. DTA is registered as well as DTS. We have recently launched a company called Assurance Consulting, right? So we have actually 3 different consulting companies launched. We have few people work directly for us, right? So that means we pay them bi-weekly. So you can actually show this as 6 months to begin with if you feel like you don't want to do anything else on your resume. But we're going to make sure that your resume has enough material to make you more, I would say, attractive to somebody, right? So in IT, one thing you'll find is that even for a senior position, let's say you have only 2 years, and even for a senior position, they will still consider hiring you as long as you know your stuff. So I would say focus on learning, but some of you guys will see that your resume will actually reflect the numbers of years of experience based on what you have learned. And that's why we have mock interviews to make sure that you get to prove us that, yes, I know this materials and it's going to be on your resume based on that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can, in addition to that, you can also get certifications, and we'll show you how to get those. So you will always look really good to recruiters and companies. And again, even Facebook doesn't require a prior huge amount of experience. They only require for you to know what they're looking for. So we'll talk about it. If you end up getting a job in Selenium, you'll notice that even with a year, even with 6 months of experience, you'll end up getting a job too. And we'll talk about those as well, how that works. Okay, so let's talk about opportunity. And this is the time where we talk about more like what is the process and kind of like how do you get all the way from starting today to all the way to get a job and get everything, get yourself out of this class as fast as you can, right? Because nobody wants to hear about homeworks. Nobody wants to hear like another person saying, okay, let's do, you got to do this and you got to do that. So that's why we want to make sure that everybody can get out of here within 4 months. And we don't want to also be, kind of like pushing every day, because this sometimes gets to you, right? We don't want to do that, right? And so therefore we do have process in place, which will either tell us that you are going to be able to do it and you're serious. And also it will tell us that you're not serious. And in that case, we have option to drop you. And we're going to make sure that we're fully transparent about that. So now 4 months plus, and in 4 months, we're going to try to cover everything that we talked about earlier. We may even cover a few extra topics depending on what is hot in the market right now. So we always try to do hot in the market, because then you can get a job easily. They can't ask you too many questions on a new tool, right? Because they themselves don't know, and they just want to hire somebody who knows it. So as long as you know your tool, you'll be able to at least convince them and be able to show your skills and be able to ace the interview. So 4 months later, we do interview prep. And in the interview prep, we're gonna develop your resume. We're gonna also create you a resume script. Resume script is for personal use, and you're gonna be using it for remainder of your career. As long as you want to work in IT, you're gonna use that. So what does that mean? You get a resume, and then we look at the resume. We will have multiple back and forth. So you're going to look at it. We're going to look at it to make sure that it actually is good and it is attractive to companies. And after that, we're going to look at the resume. We're going to create you stories. Okay. So how did you get into QA? We're going to talk to you about that. We're going to write those questions down. We're going to write those answers down for you. So you're going to get at least 30 to 40 questions based on your personal, resume. And what that does is that it prepares you for an interview. At least 50% preparation is already done. So all of the questions are written with the answers based on your feedback as well. So it's again personalized. It does take a lot of time, but once you have that script, that is yours. You can update that script as at any point of time. To give you an idea about the script is that when you call T-Mobile or AT&T, any of the customer service person, when they pick up, they sound this very same. They will say good afternoon. They will say, whatever is the promotion going on. And how do they know that they have to say the same thing? It's because when they went through the training, they were given a script and they were asked to follow strictly the script. So that way they don't end up hurting or kind of, talking to a customer, which might appear to be very rude. So that's exactly what we're doing here, right? When you finish the class, we're going to look at the resume. We're going to create the similar script where it will make you sound like a very professional and also somebody who knows their stuff. Okay, so that's why we're going to prepare that. So that's already 50% of the interview questions, right? But the rest we're going to talk about. Again, you will get some help with the interviews, and we'll talk about that as well. Once you have all that ready, you did the mock interview, you qualified, and then you got the resume, you got the script. After that, we're going to enter the job market. Enter the job market doesn't mean, okay, we're going to put you on a portal and somehow magically things happens. We're literally going to apply on the first week, 1,000 plus jobs. So we do have a targeted number. So enter the job market means is that somebody's literally sitting down and keep applying for you, behalf of you, right? And so we take the resume, we're posting it wherever we can, all right? We also post it in our clients, our known clients. So some of the clients that we actually help them to hire consultants. We also, share the profile to say, okay, these are in-house, consultant who has such and such experiences. If you guys are looking, then let us know. But that is one option. The second option is like out there, any client at this point, anybody who's hiring will get your resume. So on your first week, you will end up getting, maybe 30 to 40 calls per day, emails per day. So you're not really just waiting for, job application, apply and just count your day. It doesn't work like that. You get daily calls and emails. So if you imagine you're taking 2 calls, or at least you're getting 2 interviews per week, forget about days, you're going to be fine. On your 6th or 7th interview, you will ace it and you will be fine. Okay. And so the idea is that when you're out there, we place your resume every possible places we can find. And then your job is to set up the interview. That is your 50%. The only thing you have to focus is set up the interview. You already did the 4 months class. You already did the prepping and everything. So now you just have to set up the interview. Once you set up the interview, there is some process. We will make sure that, and you let us know the time and day and everything. And we're going to make sure that you get some sort of prepping. We look at the job description, give you a recommendation, what to read, what not to read, what to say, what not to say. Even we will help you with HR questions, but HR question is really something you should already know. If you ever did any job out there at least in United States, HR question you should be able to answer. These are like, how do you handle stress and things like that. They don't want somebody who's going to come to work and can't handle stress and just start cursing everybody and leave and run away. So these are basics, right? So HR questions, again, I'm happy to help. I guess we're happy to help you with HR questions, but you don't need it. right? You should be able to do it because, I'm sure you have been working at least somewhere, and it doesn't have to be like an office. It could be anywhere, right? Once you get the offer, some people get really, really nervous. They just don't know how to deal with paperwork. Now you got tons of paperwork. Now, because we do this so often, we will go ahead and try to give you some sort of help here. We'll guide you through. You tell us where you're stuck and we'll guide you through. That includes your reference, your previous manager information and all of that. So we will take care of all of that to make sure that you don't get stuck, right? You get to start. And also part of this process is a background check. So we'll also make sure that you don't end up failing the background check for not following something or not doing something right. So we'll also make sure that we go through and help you on that side. All right, so now that we talked about all of these, the entire process, this gives you, just put that into your mind and draw a picture, right? So that way you know exactly what's happening and when. And I will time to time, what I like to do is keep everybody informed. So middle of the class, I'll tell you guys like, okay, you guys made, maybe like 50% progress, another 50%, we're gonna start looking for, candidates who's ready. Sometime 2 months goes by and I end up seeing people are like so advanced that I just want to pull them out and put them in the market, right? Already prepare the resume, already give them script, and already start looking for a job. And that's something that I like to do, is because imagine like I have to deal with 13 people at the end, right? It's just too much. So it's better if we take people that are already advancing, and we will know who's advancing and we will know who's actually paying attention. And so keep that in mind, right? How is the training design? We're going to probably have Shantabhai come and talk about it, but I want to talk about a few things here before he jumps in. Actually, 3 things I want to talk about, which is very, very, at least significant to me. And we have been doing these classes for a very long time, and we see that there are some people that give up every class. There are some people actually also quit of midway, right? So quit versus give up is 2 different things. If you follow these 3 rules of thumb, you're not going to be one of those person, right? And so now if somebody quits, if somebody leaves, and if somebody doesn't want to do it because they don't have the trust themselves, or maybe they don't have enough time, they didn't put enough time, it becomes like our responsibility also, right? Because we want to make sure that you get the fighting chance. Your fighting chance of surviving and being able to do this is going to depend on a few things. Number 1 is that when you join the class, pay attention, right? That's the number 1 thing. If you do not pay attention, you will have to now later sit down and watch this video. Now, if you couldn't pay attention to a live class and ask questions, I don't have a very much good hope that you will be able to pay attention on a offline class, right? So my recommendation would be like glue to that screen, understand everything what we're saying. We're not reading book to you. We're gonna give you guys real life experience. So we're not reading books, so it's not gonna be boring where you're gonna fall asleep. But most importantly, I would say glue to the screen and participate. We're gonna ask you questions. We're gonna make sure that everybody's engaged. So the more participation you will have, the more you will enjoy, and this class is going to be finished before you know it. So it is very, very important that you actually enjoy learning at this point. Be curious, I would say. Why would somebody want to pay you $100,000 for this job? Just ask that question. If it was that easy, guys, what does anything stops a company to go to a college and say, okay, everybody here that will graduate next year will hire directly and put you guys as a QA? Why they're still hiring people with experience? Why they're still hiring people from consulting company like us? Why? Because we will develop a specific mindset that the freshers, college graduates do not have. And these are the courses that college do not teach. So I hope to make sure that by the time we finish this course, you guys have a mind for a QA and you guys have the patience for a QA. And just keep in mind, patient, patient, patient. If you don't have patience right now, this job is all about reading and creating checklists and then checking. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit boring, but because we are QA and we're such an important part of the development team, you have unlimited time, meaning like you can take as much as time as you need as long as it is needed. So as long as you justify, you can take as much time as you need. Nobody should be rushing QA. And people are afraid to rush QA. So even the project manager is going to come and he's not going to push QA people. And it's one of the reasons is because he doesn't want to compromise on the quality. And that's what they will say. And you will have few lines of defense at work. One would be, your manager who's always going to defend you. The other one would be the engineering manager who's supposed to defend the engineers, but he will defend you also. And the third one is going to be business analyst or business or product owner. Product owner is supposed to be product centric, but they will also defend you. Is because why? Because our interest as a QA engineer is to make sure that product owner get exactly what they need, exactly what they ask for, right? So the communication with all three channels, I'm talking about higher up, like managers. You as a QA, you get the right communication. A developer works, he's in the corner of the office and he just focuses what needs to be done. And that's it. He doesn't have that level of communication that we will have. We become subject matter expert, meaning we not only understand the business, we understand the whole application, we understand what goes around the application. A developer only understands whatever they're working on, okay? And that's it. They don't need to understand anything more to do their job, okay? And I'm not saying developers are like dumb or something. Developers are even more smarter than us, but we're more clever as a QA. So keep that in mind. Our goal is to make sure that by the time we finish, you have that kind of mindset. And the motivation, yes, we're going to try to motivate as much as possible. We're not saying we're not going to, but it has to also come from you. You have to ask yourself why you're doing this. Why are you in it? And what you're about to get at the end of this 4 to 6 months class. Few things, again, I guess I'm taking too much long, right? Shantabhai is going to be able to jump in real quick. But before I take more time, I just also want to make sure that why this job is such a nice career that even at least for me, that I felt like was the best career that I can have is because number one, flexibility. You can be, let's say you have kids, wife, whatever is the case, and something important came up. All you have to do, tell your team, hey, I'm not available between 2 to 4 p.m. today. I'll be compensating the time later after 6 p.m. And that is 110% fine, because as a team member, everybody supports everybody, right? So they will just, probably tell you like, hey, take care, whatever, but they will not say, no, you can't do this, right? So same thing when it comes about pay, you get as much as a developer, somebody who worked there, weekends just to develop a specific part of the functionality and feature, because developing is not easy. They're not looking to just get the job done. They're looking for efficiency. So it does take them, it takes them a lot for them to finish their part of the task. But we get the same pay, right? Developers, which is called software engineer, and we're actually software engineer in test. So we still write code. We still do exactly what they do. It's just that when we do it, we're doing it for the testing purpose and they're doing it for development purpose. So we do have two different paths, but again, we make the same exact money because we do the same work. What else I wanted to mention? Remote. So those that want to work from home, this is a dream, guys. You want to work from Mexico, Cancun, from somewhere in the all-inclusive resort, go ahead. That's, as long as you have good internet, that's fine. You can even show your coworkers, hey, look, I'm in Cancun. And that is possible only because, our job is pretty much everything is online, right? Our job is in a software. As long as you do your job right, nobody's going to say, why are you working from somewhere here and there? And nowadays, every company wants to hire remote because it's more attractive for the candidates. So they will most likely accept, but also they will be able to offer a little bit of less pay. So some company started lessen their pay scale to, let's say, 5,000 less because they don't have to show up in the office and things like that, which doesn't really, it doesn't really make a huge difference, right? Imagine you're making 120 yearly and they said, okay, you can work from home, 5,000 less. You would end up paying that 5,000 if you actually go to the city every day, your metro card, your food, your lunch and everything, right? Most importantly, your time, 2 hours to go and 2 hours to come back home. So I think it's fine, but some companies will not lower your pay just because you work from home. So with that said, guys, if you didn't have a plan B, which means that in your career right now, you're working wherever you're working and you didn't have any other choice but to continue there and you don't see yourself working, and you don't love your job for whatever reason, and you want to get into this because you want to give it a try, this is your plan B at this point. Plan A is already there. You're working in McDonald's, whatever is the case, you're working in accounting, or you're working in an office where as a help desk. That was your plan A, which actually is something that you want to do a little bit better. All right. So this will be your plan B, where you will now go through these courses, you will become self-sufficient, you will get a lot of knowledge, and then at the end, you will end up getting a job. And we're going to guide you through the whole process as long as you stick around. So just keep that in mind. With that said, guys, I don't want to take a lot of time. It's supposed to be an orientation and kind of like, Q&A at the end. So I'm going to have Shantabai join now and just talk about the course and design how this 4 months to 16 weeks class is going to be and some of the important topics that you want to talk about. So Shantabai, so you want to take it away?
Thank you, Joel bhai. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. So Joel bhai, I will be sharing my screen just in case actually. Okay. I will be sharing my screen. Okay.
I'll stop sharing.
Okay. Just in case. Okay, I will just make it to slideshow. Okay, so everybody can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, so I just updated the date. Actually, it was Sunday from previous batch, but it is the new batch will be actually from Saturday. So as Joel bhai said, I will be one of instructors as part of this entire event, your journey for next 4 to 6 months, actually. So now, Joel bhai already explained a lot of inspirational aspect for this course. So this is a 4 to 6 months. I'm going back to original question. One person asked if this is a self-paced or not. It is not a self-paced, but if you think about different aspect, it is a self-paced also, because we saw that some students completed this course in 3 months, some students completed this course in 6 months, and some students actually couldn't even complete. And they came back again after 6 months and after 1 year. So it is about your commitment. It is about your dedication, actually, how much dedication you are giving to this course. It's all about this. Also, as Joel bhai already mentioned, college graduation or university graduation certificate, none of them are required. End of the day, after this course, all about the interviews. As Joel bhai mentioned, this is the most important and most challenging part, interviews. Next 4 to 6 months, you will be learning everything to prepare yourself for the interview. If you think about this interview, it is like driving test. It does not matter you practiced with a fancy driving school like last 5 years, or it does not matter you practice with your brother like last 1 month. When you go to test, right, it's all about if you are doing these steps, you are following the instructor, whoever taking the test, right? If you do this test correctly with just 1 month of training, you will get the driving license. It's something like that. It is for 5 months of course or 6 months of course. It does not matter. It's all about how much you are learning these 6 months and how prepared you are for the current technology, for the current interview process, and for the requirement that interviewer are asking from you. Okay, so before, okay, so this, we will come back again, Q&A. So now, this is the course structure. Duration is 4 months, 16 weeks, and class will be every Saturday and Tuesday. So 1 weekdays and 1 weekend. Saturday will be 11 p.m. Actually, this is not p.m. It is actually, oh, it is actually a.m. I think, let me go back. Okay. Let me go back. Actually, this is, I think, okay, I'll fix this. So this is not PM, this is actually AM, 11 AM to 2 PM. And Tuesday will be 2 hours class, 8 PM to 10 PM. Okay, so all of our classes or sessions will be recorded. So it is understandable, it is okay, because everybody can have emergencies. You probably will miss 1 or 2 or 3 classes or sessions. So meeting recording will be provided and you can review them later when you are available. So you can review them and ask us question if you have any. Now, since all of them will be recorded, that will be kind of your responsibility that you are up to date with the class materials. If you have any questions, you can actually come back to one of us and say, okay, I have a question, or you can ask our WhatsApp channel, and or you can ask any question the beginning of any classes. So that will be based on student to student, it varies. So our training, right, it is all about hands-on materials. So it is not just the theory, right? As Joel Bhai mentioned already, all 4 of us, Joel Bhai, Enam Bhai, Mohsin Bhai, everybody, and I myself also, we are already working in some company with different type of domain experience, right? So all of our lectures, all of our discussion during the class will be based on real life experience. And this is important because in interview, you have to talk like a real life. Your answer need to be based from real life experience. So if you are listening us during the meetings, or if you are attending weekly live sessions and following us carefully and asking questions whenever you have. So as Joel Bhai said, in the 4 months, you are already 50% already done from your side. So now next step will be preparing for the interview process and the resume, right? So that will be another discussion. But it is very important, live session, join live session, make sure you are understanding the materials, make sure you are following us and doing the homework. I am coming to homework section a little later. So now Enam Bhai, as Joel Bhai mentioned, will be dedicated to taking care of your homeworks, right? He will be making sure that you are submitting homeworks on time. He will be making sure that if you missed any homework, why you missed it, and if you have any questions about this homework or any issues. So he will be tracking all of these actually. As I said, it is a real life experience based. So now each of our live session, right, have several sections. I will go back to a sample course outline from last batch also. So daily stand-up, right? First 2 weeks or first 2 classes, we probably will not have any daily stand-up. Daily stand-up will be another thing that quick, like 5 minutes, that what you did yesterday, or if you have any questions. This is like real life work environment. Everywhere you go, all the workplaces have a daily stand-up. Some place has 8:30 a.m., some place has 9 a.m. You can have even 7 a.m. depending on your time zone, right? So daily stand-up is basically summarizing your current status on your task. If you have any struggle or not, if you have any question, you can ask during this daily stand-up also. And the second section will be if you have any question from last class. So this is a sample, right? You can see this is daily stand-up and then our discussion, and we'll be discussing about the quiz or homework next day, and also homework if we have. So this is just a sample. Now let's talk about, okay, so this is our sample course outline, but I will go to actually real course outline for now. Let me check. Okay, everybody can see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is our real course outline, just week 1, meeting 1. You can see, right? This is the topic will be covered, for example, day 1. So instructor, whoever's name will be updated here later. Also, we'll have another section in this course outline. Everybody, our committed students, means all of our paid students who is continuing with us, will have access to this document. Each meeting will have all the details. For example, meeting link, meeting recording. There will be another row here or another section. All the necessary details you need, references, class notes, everything will be there that students will have access. And you can see this is a structure, right? You will have stand up in the beginning, and then you will have question and answer, for example, if you have any from previous class. And at the end, we will discuss about homework, upcoming homework. And grading of homework will be done by NMY, as we mentioned earlier. Now I'm going back to our, actually, this one, going back to end of this course outline. There is some important information, actually. So successful completion of this course. You see that, right? Must complete all 3 projects. We will have some projects, we will have some homeworks. So you have to successfully complete those. If you have any question, you have to ask us. Sometimes you will be late to submit the homework. You have to mention this earlier. One very important, I know Joel also mentioned, but I see from previous batch experience, a lot of students don't participate or don't attend in the class, but they don't let us know. This is actually your responsibility and our expectation that you will be learning 100% professionalism, actually. This is a professional environment. You are going to be a professional IT professional. And professional behavior will be very, very important because this is one of the most important requirement to get a job, actually. If you miss any class, if you miss any homework, or if you have any concern, let us know, actually. Just don't be quiet and assume that we know that, actually. Let us know if you miss, if you are going to miss. It is okay if you have an emergency. You can miss 1 or 2 or 3 class, but make sure that you are covering those materials. You are communicating with us. That's the most important thing. We are expecting at least 80% attendance from your side in our live sessions. Anybody who is missing 3 class or 3 session in a row and not letting us know the proper explanation will be automatically withdrawn from the course, will be removed from the course. So it is very important. If you miss class, just let us know. We will have quizzes and homeworks. So successfully done those quizzes and homework will be also very, very important. Because end of the day, right, you are learning this to gain the knowledge that is similar to like 5 to 6 years of real life experience. So 5 to 6 years of real life experience is not actually small amount of knowledge. This is a lot of knowledge you have to gain. This is a crash course, boot camp. You have to be very, very active. You have to be very, very active. And this is also important that you are committing your time. This is, as Joel Bhai also mentioned, this is not for fun or not for just try, see for a few days. You have to commit yourself for 4 to 6 months. And that means you are committing yourself like 15 to 20 hours a week, actually. We expect 15 hours a week for homework and other practices, because just joining the class will not be enough, actually. This is not enough just joining the class. We will give homework, we'll give assignment for practice. For example, coding, right? Selenium, SQL, those need actually practice from your side. Reading theory is different, but if you don't do practice, you will never do better in the actually interviews also. Interview plus real life work, you will have a lot of challenges actually. So practice and committing time is very, very important for this course. Also another topic, I just want to show you, that what type of opportunities are coming for you. Let me search, let me go to Indeed, just show you one example. Everybody can see my screen now?
Yes.
I just went to Indeed.com. You have LinkedIn, you have Indeed, you have Monster, you have Dice. I just opened Indeed. You see that this quality assurance analyst, you can get 60,000 to 130,000. You see that 60,000, this is for 1 year of experience. Somebody is from college graduate or internship, or somebody just junior, don't know anything, need to give training from the company. But we are targeting somewhere here, 90K to 130. You see that 130 means you have 5 years of experience. If you go and you see that responsibilities, you will be learning all of these responsibilities during our course. And what is our course? If you see our, okay, let me go back to course outline. You see that every week you are learning some new stuff. Every day, right? You are learning stuff. Software development lifecycle, SDLC, STLC, waterfall, agile, different type of software testing, automation, manual testing, SQL, Java, all of these things is coming here. Responsibility, part of this. You see that test, validation, module, minimum. So these, all of these validation, writing, documents, assignment, you are learning this next 4 months. So if you actually are serious, you see that these 130,000, they are expecting only from 3 years of experience. You can see actually 3 years of experience. You see that only 3 years of experience, real experience, giving you 130,000 is a possibility, right? So go check few others. You see that 88,000. Check others. You can see, okay, you can say 120,000. You can see more. If you are working as a hourly basis, you can see $70 to $100 an hour also, you have opportunities. So these are some examples you can see, and you can actually get those opportunities. You can actually get those jobs just after 4 months of training, if you are taking it seriously. As Joel Bhai mentioned many times, it's all about dedication, all about commitment from your side. we will give you 50% if you can give your other 50%. Otherwise, it will not work. So this course will only work if you are serious, if you are taking it serious, and if you try to be actually complete this course with all of our guidance. We'll give you all the guidelines, all the necessary helps you need, but you have to be very serious from your side also. So as I mentioned, if you are serious enough, if you are committed for these next 4 months with around like 15 hours of weeks of commitment, I'm sure you are ready to go actually. All you need a computer, means laptop, and you need an internet service at your home for this course. All other necessary details, all other necessary reference or notes or courses, any other reference, dedicated Tech Academy will be providing, and you are ready to go. So now I think we'll go to question and answer. Joel, by any other thing we should cover?
No, we can definitely go to Q&A because we already been
We are kind of late.
talking for like an hour, and we want to make sure that we can kind of take some of the personalized questions and be able to answer. While you guys come up with those questions, I will also want to mention about the job that Shantabhai was showing you guys. Again, there is plenty of opportunity, right? One of the questions you might be asking to yourself, why there are so many opportunities in QA engineering? And to answer you that question is because the rotation happens, right? A project started and the project finishes. When the project finishes, the company doesn't need QA engineers. So you'll see a 6 months project, you'll see a year worth of project or 2 years worth of project. Majority of the time you're going to get hired in a 6 months project, and then that project will not finish in 6 months. You may end up staying there for a year and a half, and then you have to move on. The good thing about moving on with smaller project is that not only that you're learning about one company and one process from one team, you are able to learn from multiple companies, multiple team, and multiple process, because no companies will have the same exact process in place. Everything will be different. And that's why if you joined, let's say today in a company, they were not going to ask you to start writing test cases the very next day. They give you time to grow and learn. So you'll get the first 3 to 4 weeks for you to just learn. You'll probably shadow somebody, right? So that's why I said, if you are a person who actually learns by seeing things, you're going to be fine. You might be fine. There are instances where company will say, oh, we're using a very new tool and we don't expect you to know this tool, so we're going to give you training. So now you go on a 6 months training on a company's expense. And it happened previously. One of our students got a job with HP, and they said, look, you're not using our tools. We're going to give you training on our tools, and then you're going to go to the project after. So HP hired a bunch of people with a similar skill set and said, okay, we have these tools already, and we want to make sure that you know our tool first before you can even do the work. So similar to that, there are companies where you'll see that the training will be provided to you at no cost, or even like with paid training, meaning your 8 hours going to be spent only on training and not work. With that said, guys, let's talk about questions. If you guys have any, I'd like to answer those. And the next class, we're going to have our first intro to testing, right? So we're going to go into testing world. We're going to give you guys idea about what it is, what are the testing engineering process. So we're going to start to learn SDLC, SDLC, and we're going to start to dive into actually the course. Today's just to make sure that you guys get a proper expectation, understanding, know who we are, because up until today, we only communicated through maybe a text, or maybe you guys just signed up. So we want to make sure that there is this 1 week time frame for you to think about everything. The only thing we ask is that you have to be very much motivated and know exactly what you're doing in order to be successful. Otherwise, It would be, if this was so easy, everybody would do it, right? Nobody had to drive cab or do odd jobs like, working as a customer service or maybe doing McDonald's, whatever is the case for people. You'll see like some of your friends working maybe like as a waiter, whatever is the case, right? Everybody would jump in, right? So that's why we want to make sure that the expectation is there. I'm giving you guys proper expectation. It will not be an easy journey, but it will also build you. It'll give you the skill set that you need to qualify for a engineering job. And so you have to treat it like that. And we're going to treat it as such. So if you basically don't let us know, if you don't, let's say you can't make it to a class and you don't let us know as a team, because we're going to work as a team, and you don't let us know, then we're going to have, basically, we're going to hold that accountable, basically, we're going to hold you accountable for that. So a few times, 3 times, 4 times goes by, and we're going to say, okay, maybe you're not serious. I think it is safe to assume that you are not serious when you make this kind of, I guess this kind of appearance where you don't tell us what you are doing. You don't do the homework. That's when we actually will do what we need to do. But keep in mind, everything is designed, all the process was in place to make sure that you are successful at the end. So let us do our job, trust the process. And at the end of 4 months, it's only 4 months or 6 months, whatever is the case, right? Or if you're fast enough, it'll be even 3 months. But at the end of this tunnel, let us get you, a opportunity and make you successful. So just trust the process and trust on us, and we're going to try to do as much as we can from our side. So with that said, guys, I think I see one question. Let's see. How do we sign up? You guys, those that signed up already, you guys went through a registration form. We're going to reach out because your phone number and everything is there. But if you are already on the WhatsApp group, we're going to just post a sign up sheet again so you can sign up, because what we're going to do, we're going to use the sign up sheet to take your information down. We're going to then create some documentation where we can track your homework, we can track your attendance, we can track your payments, all of that stuff. So cost wise, let me go over the cost, guys. Maybe that's better. Okay, so Shantabai, if you want to go all the way down to the last, I think like 19, slide 19. Okay, so let's talk about the cost, right? The training itself is a $2,000 training, and we don't expect people to pay $2,000 upfront. The first 2 classes, we promise that it will be free. So you get to see what you're getting, and then you can decide whether you want to continue this journey. After that, it will be $500 per month for the 4 months, and 4 months later, you don't pay $1, right? You just continue with your class until you get a job. The next time you're going to make a payment that you're already working in a company for 2 weeks. Okay. So after the first initial payment, the next time your payment is coming is that you're already in a company, you're working, and that's it, right? So that means you did everything right, and we did everything on our side. Both got benefited. Now you're just paying us for the placement. So the training is separate, it's 2,000, because you can actually go out there and get a certification after the training. So we'll show you how to get that if you need to. And certification is recognized by the entire world, right? Because it's a software certification board. There's one that gets recognized by entire world. So even if you somehow ended up being in India or something, they will also recognize your certification. But most importantly, what we're going to give you everything in a package, 2,000. We're not breaking things down like, oh, here's automation, 2,000. Here is a manual, 2,000. Here is Jira, 2,000, right? All of that included is going to be a $2,000 cost. If you decide, let's say you finish the training and you're fine with the training, but you don't want to continue off the job preparation and help and take our help to get the job, then that's totally fine by us. And you can get you can get the help from any other company out there. And if they help you place the job, then they are entitled for that, whatever amount that they're going to ask you for. But once you get the job, we're going to create another plan for you to pay off that dues, which is 5,000, but it's going to be 5 payments, right? So it's not going to be like at once. You're going to be continue to getting payments from your job, and you're going to then be able to pay it monthly. Any question on this, guys? Let's see. What did I miss about the payment? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. We don't try to make it complex. Oh, we're gonna take 10%, 20%, 15% of your first month salary, first year salary. We can if we want to, right? Because your company will know who we are. Once you get hired, if we make you guys sign a contract, we can actually carry out the training for free, because we will charge your company once you get hired. And now the company will have a choice to hire you or not, right? Because in order to hire you, they have to pay us this $2,000. So it gets really, the pressure is on you at that point, right? So now your company will know that you went through the training, and your company will also know that they have to pay up because there is a contract will be signed. So that becomes really, we're going to be in the middle, kind of on the way of your job. We don't want to do that. But this will be the cleaner way for us to handle payments. You pay us for the training, and then once we get you a job, then you pay us for the placement, and that's it. That's pretty clean for us. Yeah, any other questions regarding payment, guys?
Joel bhai, I want to add one more point there. So everybody, so you see that for 2,000 and 5,000, right? So one thing I want to mention, that once you are our student, you will be student for lifetime, part of Dedicated Tech Academy. For example, you lost a job after 5 months, so you can come back and get our help. So it's not that, okay, you completed training, we collected money and you are gone. It is not like this. So you will be part of the Dedicated Tech Academy, and you can come back for any help for new assignment or new project. Just communicate with us. Sometimes our old students take our class just to review their knowledge, actually to just refresh their knowledge. Sometimes students actually leave middle of the course and they come back for some family issue, and they come back for the next session. So you are open, we are open, as long as you are communicating with us properly. Just keep communicate with like professional manner. We will be ready there for you and to help you actually. Okay.
Thank you, Shantabai. So again, guys, in terms of payment and everything, it's gonna be very straightforward. We're not gonna go ahead and like ask you like 20 times a day and things like that. There will be somebody who's dedicated just to make sure that it is taken care of. I don't really like to talk about payments. So with Shantabai, we're just focused on, training. So we have Motion who's going to reach out to you guys to make sure that, if there is a difficulty finance situation, he will hear it, and then he will make a decision to give you the time to pay up for your monthly. But also keep in mind, if you do late payments, there will be a late payment fee. And that is because end of the month, we also have to pay up the trainers, right? And as well as the equipments that we use for the training purposes. So we will make sure that the late fee is something that we implement, because we cannot drag it to the next 2 months just for the single payment. I guess like one thing to just mention is that you take us seriously and we will take you seriously. Let's just say that. And everybody here for a job, and that's exactly what we are here for, to make sure that we can help you get a job, right? Let's not think about something like we're gonna give you education, we're gonna give you a degree. We're not here to give you education. We're here to give you job orientated training this is for the job. So this has nothing to do with getting you guys like some sort of like degree status. We're not going to brag about giving you guys any certification, but we can help you get the certification that will be recognized by the whole world rather than getting it from our company directly. So just make sure that again, take the course seriously, and then you will be successful, and so is us too, because some of our students, most of our students actually comes from a referral. We tried marketing. We took like 200, 300 students from out there after marketing. And then out of the 200 to 300, we don't see a lot of serious students, serious candidates, let's say. So if you're not serious, it doesn't really work, right? You have to know exactly what you jumped into, what you learned about these positions, and how this QA role works. If you know that, only then you will know that, okay, end of the course, there will be jobs, and there will be, at least there is some level of guarantee that you'll get the job, right? The guarantee that I can give you today is that at least if you didn't miss the homework and you didn't miss any of the class and you did everything right, you will be guaranteed to get a job, even if you don't go with us for the marketing. Even if you try it yourself, you'll still be the knowledgeable person who's going to be able to get a job yourself, right? You just have to make sure that your resume is up to date with all the skill set that you learned. But we're here to make sure that we give you all this professional guidance. So there is no need for you to do that yourself, like I said. But if you want to, you can. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining. I don't know if there's any other questions. If not, then I don't want to keep you guys here very long. We are going to share this video, and just like this, we're going to have classes. We're going to share the video at the end of the class, but the classes will be more interactive. Now here, if I'm explaining something, you will be able to ask questions and say, hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain again? And we will explain it. That's the beauty of the live class. But if you, depending on, let's say you join the actual class from an iPhone and you try to learn something, I don't think that is a very good idea, right? Because that shows that you're probably not that serious. So if you have a laptop, I would say, in order for you to prep for the next class, clean it up so it's fast enough, remove unnecessary stuff, make sure these Windows, make sure it's at least 16 gigabyte RAM. So that way the computer at least runs fast enough for you to catch up. The other thing is, if you have a Mac, 8 gigabyte is also sufficient. So Mac users, again, Mac is pretty seamless, I would say, but it's still do your cleanup. Try to clean up as much as possible. Be ready for it. Your computer should make a statement that you are a IT person. You're going to be an IT person soon, right? So if you have a laptop, which is like, you have no idea about how to navigate through, clean this up, and you have desktop with thousands of items, it doesn't look good. So start from there, I would say, before the next class, and we're going to see you in next class. And the next two classes, guys, just be there on time, see how you're learning. Based on your learning abilities, you can say, okay, I want to continue these classes because I can learn. I think I'm getting it, right? But if you somehow feel like, nah, I can't learn because whatever is the case, you have a personality problem, maybe I can't learn from this person because this person speaks too fast, whatever is the case, right? No, nobody is here to judge. Then you can make a decisions alternative to joining, right? But I would say at least don't make a decision until you actually physically was in the class and saw it and kind of ask yourself those questions to say, okay, did I learn anything today? And if you did, only then you can make a choice of learning. Money will come and go, guys. Tomorrow you could be getting tickets. These 4 tickets for just driving recklessly and getting a lawyer and all that stuff. You could be spending this money or use it for a good cause for yourself, continuous learning and education. But most importantly, this is gonna make you money, tons of money. We're gonna basically once the course is toward the end, I'm going to give you guys access to our other channels, which has students, previous students, and you'll see like how many so far out there working. And some of them has title like QA managers, directors, and some of them actually went past us, right? Shantabai and I, we're still on the QA managing level, right? We're managers. One of our student actually a director, QA director for Bank of America. So it is just insane, right? It's just a matter of who you are. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be, oh, I have to have this much experience. It's also being at the right place at the right time and how much work you do for you to be able to climb the ladder. Guys, with that said, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. This is the next class. We're going to share the link. And then next Saturday, we're going to see you again. I just have one request to everybody before we let you guys go. The request here is that if you feel like this is going to help one of your family member or friend, again, we only rely on referral. We don't go out there and post our links to any of the Facebook group or anything, because we don't want people that are not serious, right? So if you feel like you want a buddy, you want somebody maybe like your friend who also maybe will work with you at the same time and you guys can work together, and you want to help him get in, you can go ahead and share the link. We'll also share the link right after this class, so you can actually copy and paste it to them. If they do join, we're going to give you, we're going to basically take 1 month of your payment, but that's after a certain time. There is I don't know how long is that? I think it's like 3 months later or so, but it's not going to be the next day, right? You're still making payments, and they're going to take off maybe your last payment to make sure that you get a referral fee. With that said, this is the only request that we have today, and we're going to send you the link so you can share and maybe you can save some money there. Otherwise, if you guys don't have any question, I don't have any as of right now. So we'll see you guys next class, guys. Have a nice weekend and enjoy your rest of the Saturday.